think we're live. That was quick. Never usually goes live that quick. But happy Friday. Welcome everyone to Kats Creations, where tonight we are going to design a welcome to our farmhouse, a chicken inspired wreath. I'm sure you guys have seen me do this before, but we're gonna take this one and kind of add a lot more red to it. I've done them in brown, I've done them in tan, I've done them in blue and gray. So today we're kind of doing it with more of a red base themed. So welcome as you guys come in. Let me know where you're from. I'd love to know how far out you guys are joining us tonight. If you're new here, let us know. We'd like to welcome you. Hopefully you'll have a crafting connection that you'll make with somebody here on the Facebook Live. If you'd like to be notified when we go live, which is every Friday at 5 and every Sunday at 6 Pacific, just make sure you like and follow the page. Once you're actually watching the video like you are right now, there should be 3 dots in your upper right hand corner on the video. Just click those dots and make sure your turn on notification option is checked. That way you won't miss any of your Facebook Lives. What else?
Got Del joining. Rosemary said from Washington.
Nice.
Gwen said from South Carolina.
Welcome.
Everybody joining.
Yeah. So, and then YouTube subscribers, make sure that you click the bell in the upper right hand corner if you're watching this on YouTube. We upload these. We try to get them uploaded as quick as possible right after our Facebook Lives. But if you'd like to join us on a live, go over to the Kats Creations Wreath page on Facebook. Other than that, if you want to be notified when we upload new videos, click the subscription bell. This is for YouTubers only, and you'll be notified whenever we drop new videos. So we're ready to go. We're taking a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. We've added all of our pipe cleaners, and the question has been posed, why do you use colored pipe cleaners? Like, why do you color code it? And there is no specific reason. I just tried to make them as color-coded to the design as possible, because when you're finished, not only do these kind of color coordinate with the ends where the ribbon tails or the bows will be, but also when you flip it to the underside, it kind of continues that color scheme throughout, so it looks like the whole design was well thought out. The sign is I want to say it's a 12 by 6. So this is a 12.5 by 6. It came from Craft Outlet. We're going to finish wiring together this Dollar Tree wreath frame so that you can see how I put this together. I've done the other 5 sections. We're going to go ahead and finish this last one, which is you find your weld marks. You're going to take your pipe cleaner and you're going to kind of find a midway point on the 2 innermost rails. These are my flippy floppy pipe cleaners. These are kind of a lower grade, so they're kind of flippy, like they're weak. And then like the ones that I have that are like this are a little higher grade. They're a little thicker. And we're going to take the center and our weld and kind of find a halfway point here. Wire together the 2 outside ones. Do the same over here, and then this way it'll give you a grand total of 18. There's 6 on the inside, 12 to the outside, and we're ready to go. So we are using what's called a cotton drift mesh, and this is on the tan and white. These are cut to 20-inch pieces. We're going to ruffle these really quickly and put them in all 18 pipe cleaners. So this particular mesh, because it has that cotton fiber going all the way through, you have to cut this with a rotary cutter. You won't be able to use your wood burning tool, which means that depending upon how much you're playing with the raw cut edges, you're going to notice that there's going to be some fraying, and that's just perfectly normal. So in order to do a ruffle, you're going to just kind of visualize a line right up the middle. I usually put my scissors on it to keep it flat, and then you're just going to start gathering and pulling it towards you, just like this. You're going to take that finished edge. That finished edge is going to go towards the center, That's interesting. This is my dad. Give it a couple twists. We're going to be removing the inside 6 because with our sign and our chicken and the bow, it's going to take up a lot of space. So we're just going to take that leftover, we're going to tuck it back down, and then we're ready for our next piece. Now I take these in order. You should have the phone there too. You should have these in the order, like I do them in the very next order that I have it. Just like this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and tuck this one right in here, just on, right on top of the other. And they kind of like will stack a little bit on them. 2 twists will make sure that that's fairly secure. And we're just gonna keep on going. I think they forget. They forget.
You remember when unfortunately it was too late.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. One of these days you'll look back on all those lives when he's no longer here and say, I remember that time. So just like that. And I like to take my outside ones and kind of pull them forward so they don't get caught in the other deco mesh. They're easier to find when we're ready to go ahead and start adding some of our ribbon tails to that. Okay. I find it's just easier if you pull the mesh towards you rather than walk your fingers all the way up. Place this one right in the center. Couple twists. And we'll remove this one. And then I won't pull this one to unfluff it till I get the next one in. That way it doesn't get in the way or I'm constantly having to play with, you know, moving a pipe cleaner. You want to just not disturb the mesh as much as possible once it's inside the pipe cleaners.
Thank you all for sharing. Appreciate it.
That's another thing I totally forgot to share with you. So if you like this design and want to replicate it, once you get materials in, just click the share button and then it'll go ahead and share it to your page. So much easier to find rather than trying to look it up depending upon when you get all your supplies in.
Speckled Bow from Canada.
Thank you for joining us all the way from Canada.
Marcia and I from Rhode Island.
Taking all those frays, moving them. So I try to keep it as even as possible when you lay it in, so you don't have like more towards the top or less towards the bottom. And then we'll go ahead and make sure our pipe cleaners are pulled down and out. This is one of my new favorite mesh, the cotton drift. It's just really hard to find. I'm trying to think, where did I even order this from? I think I ordered it from, I have Craft Outlet because it's a Craft Outlet SKU.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah. But I think when I went to click on it, it was out. I had it sitting in my cart for too long and I forgot to go back in and check out. By the time I went back, they were all sold out. So I believe I found it at Kringle Designs, maybe. Might have been my source. When did I first come across this? It was earlier in the year. I think, oh, we did this kind of mesh for the Bubble Bunny. Because it was super soft and looked like a rustic rabbit. Okay.
And yes, it's called cotton drift mesh.
That's exactly what it's called.
That's what Linda just. Cotton drift mesh is pretty in all colors.
Yeah, I have not been able to find it in any of the other colors. I'm not sure what other color. Like, it's easy to confuse it with snowball mesh. The snowball mesh just has a really thin piece of cotton, and it kind of like, it has little balls every now and then. But the cotton drift goes all the way through. It's like an entire fiber dedicated to going all the way the length of your mesh, which kind of makes it super soft too. Okay, 2 twists. Remember, we're going back to the inside, so I'm not going to fluff that one just yet. Not until I get that whole section complete. Okay. Back here to our inside. We'll just be taking this off. Do you guys have any questions at all that I can answer for you while I'm laying this in?
Well, right now, I went into Creative Design, and it does come up on you, obviously, but it's showing sold out.
Oh, it's showing sold out?
But it says arriving spring, so.
Which should be now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the supplies are now going to be hit and miss. Like, I see a lot of people finally got all their Easter in, but Easter is like in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really help people who were looking for Easter supplies a month ago. Okay, pull. Make sure I grab this one. Now I can go ahead and flip. Okay.
Hi, Cheryl. No, she's not making curls with this. This is just a ruffle.
Yeah. Curls wouldn't work on this design with all the stuff that I'm going to be wanting to lay on top of it, from the plush chicken to the eggs to the sign to the bow. It's just too much, and having to fight with curls to try to find a flat space to put all that in, it just didn't make sense. So that's why no cruffle and no curls. Right. Also, why no poof either? Because poof gives you more volume this way, and I need more flat space. So curls are perfect for, you have a lot of stuff you want to put on it, go with the ruffle technique. Okay,
Right. Tonight, greetings from cold Chicago.
Cold Chicago?
Yeah, it's like 70.
I would love cold.
It's like 74 degrees out here today.
I think it's more than that.
80.
Yeah, it's closer to like 80, 82, which is just, I think we have officially seen the last of our spring. So
That's
see
it.
how I'm holding back?
Yeah, Carol said, heck yeah, I love when you do farmhouse wreaths.
So do
Anna
I.
said Wreath Shop has the mesh as well, so thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Anna, for getting back and letting us know about that. So yeah, today's April Fool's, well, April 1st, beginning of a new month. So we will research a little bit and figure out what the STARS fundraiser is going to be. I want to say we raised like $55 in Facebook STARS for the month of March. So we will match that, and then we will be sending a donation out to the Ukrainian churches on behalf of everyone who contributed. So the stars are actually at the bottom, right next to the comment window to the right. And that just allows you, each star equates to 1 cent. So if you sent 50 stars, it's 50 cents. And we take that money and we apply it towards whatever fundraising we will be doing. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, this is April.
Ravina said, love the design of the door. Can you show it to us later? She can do it after she's done.
Yeah.
Melissa says, I love watching your creations come to life. Watching from Orange, Texas.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, I know. And then essentially Susan B's, it's a cute business name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to what you have your pre-cut pieces, and as you know, they stick to each other. And other stuff too.
It's a little cart that's on wheels. You can get it at Michael's. So I just stack them, and then I kind of pull out one of my drawers so that they can kind of fill that space so that they're not sticking to each other. So I just have them laying flat so I can just pick them up and go ahead and ruffle them. But great question.
And Debbie, I think we just kind of answered that. Said they were at the Wreath shop. Anna said they were at the Wreath shop.
Oh, the mesh?
Yeah, this mesh you can find on the Wreath shop online.
Yeah. And then keep in mind, too, the Wreath shop, they have an $89 free shipping quota. So that's easy to do. Now that ribbon, I was just looking at the cost of what ribbon was last year compared to this year. Like, one of my 2.5 inch ribbon rolls used to be $6.95 and now it's $7.50 a roll. So everything is going up.
That's what we're paying down.
$7.50?
Almost.
No, we're paying close to $6.50 a gallon here in California. Yeah, not good. Almost makes you not want to go anywhere. Okay, so I'm just kind of relaying my mesh right here. Taking my pipe cleaners, just readjusting some of these pieces. And laying those back. Pull this. I got one. No, weird. No, wait a second. There it is. I was like, I know I specifically counted this mesh twice because in the midst of this mesh was a splice, which is never good. So I think I had about five inches left, like that. You know, if you're measuring out 20-inch pieces, the piece that I measured out before the splice was like 25. So you had to cut 5 inches of it off. And I was like, oh no, this is going to be really bad. You're either going to have, you're going to come up short, or hopefully they compensated for that and gave you a little bit more. And they really did. Which is not something they usually do. Okay, so I've removed all the inside 6. All you can see are the outside ones. We're going to add a different kind of ribbon combination because I just love red and tan and white. So let me show you what we have. These are what we're doing. So we are doing the red with the white farmhouse because it kind of ties into our sign. This was from Craft Outlet. This is the one that's the new price now for $7.50. The chickens and the chicks on the bobbed wire is also from Craft Outlet. And then we're doing this burlap plaid. This is a 3-inch ribbon and it's in a cream and red, and this is from Hobby Lobby. Now, the thing with the Hobby Lobby ribbon is Hobby Lobby ribbon is changing. So now it's not full 30-foot rolls. We're starting to see 15-foot and 18-foot rolls. And this was, find it, a 15-foot roll. So 3 inches, 15-foot roll. But it's in their everyday section. So if you just wait, I believe it is through today that their ribbon is on sale at 50% off. So if you're going to purchase deco mesh or ribbon from them, through tomorrow is when that 50% off sale is. So we are...
Okay, yes, how long did you cut the mesh?
The mesh was cut to 20-inch pieces. The 2.5 and 3-inch ribbon tails were all cut to 14-inch pieces. So we're going to toggle between the farmhouse, and I always fold them in half. You're just going to kind of walk it up and pleat it. And I'm going to place these on the red. And then everything else is going to go on the non-red space. So we just place those inside and you just pull those tails out to the outside. It kind of elongates your wreath. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these all in.
Oh, Kathy, she said that happened to me the other day. I would not have another roll and a short one piece.
See?
I had to splice them together and put my bow where I used the splice piece.
It's sad when that happens. And that was not the only thing. The farmhouse ribbon had a splice in it. And what I'm trying to do is make sure the word farmhouse was here. So as I was cutting it, you know, getting ready for the next piece, right in the middle of the farmhouse was a splice. And I was like, are you kidding? This is like a double splice for this.
Diana, what supplier do you buy your florals from?
My florals.
From all over.
Yeah, honestly, right now, all over. Our local Hobby Lobby, which used to be my go-to source, because every other week they're half off. Our Hobby Lobby has not had anything in. It is like slim pickings. All the stuff that I've used to, you know, be able to pick up, I'm just not finding there. I will go online at Hobby Lobby to find it sold out. So it just tells me that there's not enough, a lot of restock happening. So I think they migrate most of their inventory towards the bigger stores. I guess up here we're not that busy, or not that big for florals anyway. Where have I been going? Greenery Market. I'm waiting to get an affiliate link from them so that I can start, and I'm waiting for more florals to come in right now. Because of the slim pickings at Hobby Lobby, I've had to go outside. Normally for local, Michael's is my favorite because I love Michael's florals. They're a little pricey, but you can use your coupons. But florals right now too, everything is just going up in price. Where else have I gotten them? A lot of times, believe it or not, Amazon. Because I can get them a little bit quicker. Okay, so now we're going to alternate the chicken wire and the plaid. So these are going to alternate. So I have the chicken wire, and then I'm going to do the plaid, 3-inch. Okay. Gather this. It's very thick because it's an actual burlap. So it's kind of keeping with that country theme. Okay, just make sure. I'm trying to figure out, do I want the farmhouse on top or do I want everything else on top? That's probably your biggest decision, making this design. Okay, here we go. Got to take my inside piece, move it to the bottom. It's actually on top of the others. Okay, now we're back to our burlap. Just like this, right on top. Couple twists. Fan that 3-inch out. Just move these to the top. Go back here. And we're back to here. 2 more pieces. And then obviously you can tell that I have the same, this one actually has a lot of ribbon on it. A lot for this particular design. So we're going to use a lot. Okay. So not so much quantity, like in, you know, rolling out large amounts. It's going to be lots more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're using 7 different ribbons on this design. And that's just on the ribbon tails to the outside. So tails are all in. Now we're going to add in, we have our red, solid red. This is from, just double check, Craft Outlet. It's just a solid red canvas. There's also the Harlequin on burlap. That is from the Wreath shop. And then we're also doing a white ticking. And this is from Craft Outlet. So I think I want, let me look how I have this. Yes, I think the chicken ribbon is not getting any because there's only 3 of them. So we're going to be alternating the ticking and the harlequin on top of our farmhouse. So these are cut to 19-inch pieces. This is the 1.5 inch. It's very thick. It's put on a heavy duty cotton or linen type. So you can see it's really difficult to kind of pinch. So you just fold them in half, tails together, go up about 2 inches from the top. Literally it's 2 inches. And then you're going to lay this right down on top of your farmhouse. And we're going to be alternating these with the harlequin. So they have like a different look, different pattern. And then you'll fan those out, and then this way it kind of forms what's kind of like a 3D awareness bow. Okay, and then we're going to alternate our other. This is our harlequin, not as thick. Lay this in here, and I'm not removing my pipe cleaners just yet because I'm trying to decide what I want. If I'm going to add anything else to it, like raffia. You know, sometimes you just want to add little pieces of raffia to that. This is where you're trying really hard not to disturb your cut edges. Okay, those fan out. Back to our ticking. But it will make sure that I have them all twisted. I twist them about 4 or 5 times just to make sure they can't come undone. Then you always want to make sure you open your loops. You can pull these back down to create that little arc that kind of follows the outside.
Kathy, yeah, she skipped every other one, then the alternate, the plaid, and the chicken ribbon.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So farmhouse is every other one, and then between the chicken and the plaid, it's like I alternate those on the opposite every other one. Yeah. So there's like 3 with the plaid and 3 with the actual chicken wire.
Yeah. I mean, it's so sad Hobby Lobby's doing the smaller rolls.
I know.
Everybody is.
But they're not reducing the prices.
I know.
So they're still charging the same amount of money, but you get half as much ribbon, which just means you have to get very good at finding deals now.
Melissa asked, why did you start doing 1.5 inch ribbon to 19 inches versus the 18 you used to?
I wanted them to fall. Like if you notice right now, the 1.5 inch now ends right where the 14-inch ribbon ends as well. They were just a little shorter, so I wanted them to be the same by the time I put everything in.
Yeah. Susan Wright said, I do love Craft Outlet. I just need to have patience when they're out of stuff. They have a really quick delivery most of the time.
Yeah, and I think that's, and they have a low shipping minimum.
$69.
It's $69, right, to get free. So for me, that's 2 wreath designs, and I pretty much have hit that. And then it never fails. I always find something after I've checked out.
Right.
Or they get a new shipment in and I'm like, oh, man. And you can't wait nowadays. Because you don't know if they're going to get any more of that in. Before we used to go, okay, they'll get more 4th of July in closer to 4th of July. Not no more. Okay, now the red is going to go on, trying to think where I want this to go. I think I'm going to put this on, I'm looking at where they fall. It's every other one. I think I'm going to put this on the plaid. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll put this on the chicken.
Kathy Reedon earlier too said it's interesting that you're using a 3-inch ribbon.
Yeah. I didn't even notice. I was like, oh, that's really pretty. So I'm just like going through my ribbon rack and pulling it. I didn't realize it until I started cutting it. And I was like, whoa, this is bigger. So I am putting the solid red on our chicken wire. So, and then I'm going to save the plaid because it's bigger for the 2-inch ribbon, which makes sense. Put 2-inch ribbon on a 3-inch tail.
Yeah. Kathy and German said the same thing. She used to get most of all of her ribbon from Hobby Lobby. Now she goes to Craft Outlet. She loves that. Yeah.
The nice thing is that knowing, like sometimes just watching people on their tutorials, if they tell you where, you know, they get the supplies, most of the stuff that I use, I like the quality of. If I don't, like if it's a satiny type of ribbon, I'll mention that during the live, okay, not a fan of this ribbon, which means, okay, if I bought it at Craft Outlet, like this is great, buy this. I don't think there's anything, nope, that I'm not using that I would say no. Normally it's the stuff that they're printing on the polyester. It's like the fake polyester stuff now, where they're taking like the Harlequin and putting that on like a silky polyester blend. And it just doesn't hold up the way the other ones used to. Okay.
I said their Hobby Lobby there has all red, white, and blue stuff out.
Really? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut these. I've been thinking about it and I'm like, no, I'm just going to move these. I'll cut all the ones I have. Because that's what I'm doing in my head, which is exactly what I would be doing if I was making this on my own, is deciding, okay, what comes next? What would I put next? Which is why I don't do like, what do you call it? Like where I give you a supply list ahead of time and say, okay, this is where everyone can order that. Now, who knows when you're going to get your supplies or if you'll be able to get them. That's funny, I cut that one, so it was a good idea I did it. So snip. So they're getting really dull. I'm going to have to just retire those after tonight. The long pink handled wire cutters are just going to have to say goodbye after like 4 years. But they were Hobby Lobby. I think they weren't any more than like $4 when I originally bought them. I just needed something to cut the ribbon wire. Okay, last one here, and then we'll add our 2-inch ribbon around the back. Okay, make sure pop some of this out. What I want, making sure all the farmhouse is on the outside. Just pulling this up, making sure this is on the top. Okay, this is the 2-inch ribbon we're using. So I know this looks a little odd. This is actually called chicken wire ribbon. Hobby Lobby makes it. It comes in a really tight roll. It's 2 inches wide. These were actually cut to 19-inch pieces because as you're cutting, and this is actual chicken wire, as you're cutting it, you need to kind of figure out a way of, you know, what are you going to do to the ends, number one, to keep it from untwisting, number two, from being super sharp. So what I do is I take them and I fold about 2 inches of the ribbon down, and then I can actually tuck the inside pieces up into the ribbon, and then that just kind of leaves you with a really nice edge. So the finished ones on these are 15 inches. So they're just a little bit longer than our 14 inch. So we're just going to, let's see, 15 inches. I'm going to go right here at 2.5. I'm going to try to find a midway point. I'm just going to squish them together like that. And then I'm going to bend them down so they're like everything else. And this is going on that burlap bundle. So we're going to go ahead and tuck those in. And we're gonna go ahead and make sure those go under, but on top of our burlap. And it's kind of nice because it gives some structure to the bow, to the wreath as well. So that this is what it kind of looks like on the outside edge. You actually have legitimate chicken wire on here. So right here.
Kathy, you know, said I love working with the canvas that holds its shape very well. Yeah, it does.
The what?
The canvas ribbon.
Yes. Anything that is super thick holds its shape well. Yeah. And then it depends on the size of wire that they're using on the edge as well. Like this one looks the same as the linen, or this cotton linen kind of piece, but this is a really thick wire.
Any questions? Hi, newbie here. Do you like working with the wireframes versus the UITC boards? They just have different purposes for them.
Yeah, like there are some like specific things that I would use the Unique and the Creek boards on. I know a lot of people right now are using them in lieu of the wire wreath frame, but most of the time you're paying somewhere between $7 to $11 for a board versus like I think it's like $4.99 to $6.99 for a work frame. And so, yes, it kind of gives you a different look, but they're flat. They're not elevated. So I think it just gives you a very more of a flat dimension, but it's also increasing the price of your materials. Maybe for a pancake wreath, but then they're going to look really flat.
Awesome. Helen said I ordered my Wreath of the Month supplies for May and June on Wednesday, and I received them today.
I just got mine today too.
You're ahead of the curves. That's awesome.
That's exactly true. They were pretty quick on that. Okay, so I left the ties on that because we're going to come back in and we're going to add more on the embellishment side to the places where we have the chicken wire. And when I'm setting this up and looking at it, knowing that I'm going to be adding like raffia and chicken feathers and speckled eggs to those areas where we have the chicken wire, because it makes sense. I want to make sure, like when I'm looking at the design, like where are those at? So I have one here, here, and here. So I at least want two at the lower bottom, so that if you're looking at that walking up to the door, you can actually see those embellishments. This one, not so much, but at least the two on the outside. Okay, so let's go ahead and prep the sign, which is, like I said, from Craft Outlet. We're just going to cut the twine off of it. We're going to use pipe cleaners and a staple gun because our sign is more than a 1/4 inch thick. And I just use, this is called a Power Shot staple gun. And I just go ahead and add that right to the side. There's no need to use an adhesive cable tie, because then this actually will last longer. Just like that. So our sign's ready to go. Cats hate me because every time I just pick it up, they're like gone. I don't know why.
Kathleen, one last thing I wanted to say thank you for all the prayer for my son Michael.
Oh, you're welcome.
You nicely, and thank you for the prayers for myself. You all are amazing.
You are so welcome. Okay, what are we at? Let's go ahead and make the bow. Then we'll add the sign, and then we'll add our chicken, and we'll be well on our way. So we are going to use, obviously, the farmhouse ribbon. I'm going to go with the chicken wire, just keeping that theme instead of the 3-inch burlap. And then we're going to do our ticking, our red. We're also going to come in with a red and tan gingham. So we'll break those up a little bit, probably like that. Maybe we'll do those like that. I'm always playing with the design. Okay, we're gonna go red down So that changes how everything else will go, which means this goes, then this, and then we'll end with the Harlequin. So that's my order. I always take just a few moments just to kind of put it in whatever order I want to see. I always pick something that's patterned. If I have patterned in the bow configuration with the ribbon, so that this is exactly what you see when you look at it. And then I'll always pick something opposite than what we have. Like we have the cotton drift. It doesn't make sense to lay this down because it gets lost. So if we put the red down first, it kind of creates a base for it, and then it complements it rather than losing it in the details. So I'm using my bow dabra. Take these guys.
Claire asked what is the Wreath of the Month surprise?
Huh?
Can't join the group.
Yeah, so if you're interested in the Wreath of the Month group, right now it's invitation only. It's $10 a month, and then we do just one wreath design per month. So if you're interested, email me at info@KatsCreationsNMore.com, and then I can send you the invitation to sign up. Everybody orders whatever materials they want. Sometimes people might want different choices of ribbon, or they might want to supplement with other designs they might have laying around. So this comes at a perfect opportunity. We find that if we order 2 kits at the same time, it definitely makes sure that everyone's hitting that $69 minimum. And I'm trying to make sure that the designs are beneficial. Like, I know right now in April we're going to be doing Mother's Day. May is going to be, let me think about that. I just got the thing. What is May's? Oh, we're doing the pancake patriotic wreath, and then June is beach. So yeah, it's a beach kind of floral kind of poof design. So something new, and it kind of challenges you as a wreath maker to kind of step outside of your comfort zone a little bit, but it's perfect for someone who just wants to try it before jumping in wholeheartedly. Okay, 10-inch tail. So we go from here. I just dovetailed that and didn't show you, but I'll show you when we end it. 10 inches in, we're going to gather that together. Now this is a painted on ribbon, so wherever you see the white, you're going to have like a part where the ribbon isn't going to want to bend. And actually, I'm going to flip this one around. Whenever you have a horizontal word, a horizontal pattern, there's a way, like if we did this the old-fashioned way, okay, we're going to twist and flip, right? We have house going one direction. The minute I go up and over, now the orientation's gone. Everything now is upside down until I flip it again. So the way to rectify that is 10 inches in, you build everything on the outside and then you put it in there to carry on with the next step. So 10 inches in, you're going to gather, and then you're going to take what's in your right hand, move it to your left hand, and take this all the way back to the starting position. Now, because this is going to be a 5.5-inch loop, 5.5 and 5.5 is 11 inches. So right at 11 inches, you're going to gather again, and you're going to transfer right hand to left hand. And see, just by doing that, it keeps our word orientation the same. Bring it back to your start finish, another 11 inches, gather. Okay, this one you're going to kind of have to flip up like that. Flip this around, and then you're going to measure out your solid 10, which is right here. Oop. There we go. Now the way I hold it, everything is exactly, the words are facing the same direction. Oop. So just like that. I don't know if you guys can see that. You should. So there, right direction, right direction, right direction. So dovetail is just taking your wired edges, bring those together. You're going to cut from your folded side to your pointed wired end, just like that. And then that gives you like a finished look for your ribbon. If you're storing ribbon, use straight pins. If you use rubber bands, it'll kind of crimp your ribbon and kind of give it a weird look after a while. And then we're going to do this one. See, now this pattern is a vertical pattern. There's nothing I can do to make the vertical pattern all stay vertical. It's going to go up and half down. So this one's going to be 9.5 inches. So we're going to put this right in our Bodabra, right at the twist. We're going to bring this up and around, and you're just going to kind of gauge where everything's at. I want 5 inches on this. Let me pull this one a little bit. So we're right at 5.5. Twist. There we go. 5 inches in. Flipping. Kind of gauge where 5 inches is. And this is just my recipe for what works for me when I'm making a bow. I know what size this bow is going to make as far as like the tail length. I know where it's going to fall. I know about how big it's going to be, how tall. So this works to keep it a little bit below 6 inches in depth with everything that we're adding. So that keeps shipping costs down as much as we can.
Sharon said the ribbon really goes well with the sign. Yes, it does.
Isn't that pretty? Okay.
I said still on repairs regarding Carol. That one.
Oh yeah, she's still in ICU. So, but she's in ICU. There's a thing called ICU recovery.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Tracy asked how your mom was doing. That mom was doing.
Yeah, I think they said she'll be there for about another week, but they're getting ready to start her on rehab, get her walking again, get her oxygen levels back up. For a while, they weren't sure that she suffered some effects from a lack of oxygen. So they had to kind of wait, give her all the steroids, wait for the steroids to kick in, and then it was the steroids, believe it or not, which is odd because I've never heard that. They make them kind of delusional. So when they were asking her roundabout questions who people were, she wasn't able to tell, you know.
She wasn't really responding. Yeah.
Well, she wasn't able to tell you who they were. She was like, I don't know who they are. So that was concerning. But now it seems like she's going to be okay, which is always good. But thank you all for your prayers and your support. It's been amazing. Okay. So this red and tan gingham was from Hobby Lobby at Christmas. So always think about that when you're in the craft stores. If you're looking at supplies on sale, like if there's still Valentine's Day supplies somewhere, think of that like red and white can be used for patriotic. Red and white can be used for summer designs like watermelon, farmhouse. It can also be used for Christmas. So when you're shopping, you're not so much shopping for the season. You're almost looking at sale items and go, what else can I use that for? So we've done 10 inches, 9.5, 9. This next one with the ticking is going to be 8.5 inches. And this is going to be another 4.5 inch loop. It's what the gingham ribbon was. So we're doing both of those the same, so they can complement each other. And we'll do the same right here. Pull them. But then you're still going to always have to bring that back and remeasure your ribbon. Always dovetail. Okay. Back. solid red. This one's going to be 8 inches for our tail length and 4 inches for the loop length. Okay, so here's 8. And loop length, when I talk about that, it's not like 4 inches total. It's if I twist it and lay it on top of each other, this should be right at 4 inches. Okay. Double check. And I'm always double checking my dimensions because if it's the same on both sides, then when it comes time to fluff that, it looks nice because everything, all your measurements, all your loops, all your tails, they're all the same size on both sides. Last one. And this one's going to be 7.5 inches for the tail length and 3.5 inches for the loop length. So 7.5. Twist. Okay, 3.5 inches. Right inside. Right there. 3.5 again. Should be pretty close. Right there. And 7.5. Right at our harlequin. And you're welcome to go ahead and adjust. You can put 2.5 up higher. You can add more ribbon, you can add less ribbon. When you do it like this, you're roughly using about, on the very bottom, the longest piece is 42 inches long, stretched out and done with that measurement. And then each one, you're kind of taking about 1 inch off on both sides. So you're drastically reducing exactly how much ribbon you're using. Okay, we are going to grab our pipe cleaner. We're going to pick up the whole stack. As we're picking it up, you're pushing down on it with both thumbs and your forefingers. Just slide your pipe cleaner in, kind of grab it at the bottom, and then you just twist your stack. Just like that. Okay, now we are going to, I prefer to use a fluff board. Rather than fluff my ribbon or my bow on the wreath, this just, if you're making bows, having something like this, if you're at a craft show, looks really nice, it looks really professional. If you're making bows to sell them through your online shop, it makes for really good backdrop to photograph your bows on. So I'm going to take my C-hook. This is actually 24 inches by 24 inches by 1 inch thick. This is 1.5 inch C-hook. It's just screwed into the wood. I am just going to feed my pipe cleaner. Actually, squish that one down there pretty good. There we go. So that we're all secure. And all that does is just keep my ribbon stack from sliding across the table. So that's why you have a fluff board. If you did it on your cutting mat, there's no way to hold the ribbon in place while you're kind of manipulating it and moving it around. And then from here, you're going to start at the bottom and you're going to move your loops, like a loop to the left, tail to the right, flip it up the other way. We're going to go tail to the right or left and loop to the right. This way they are directly across from one another. You'll grab the next one and you'll go opposite. This time we're taking our loop to the right and the tail to the left. Go back over to the other side, move our tail and move our loop. And then what it's doing is now it's alternating those colors each time I bring another layer down. So from here, we're gonna follow the farmhouse pattern. So we're going loop and tail. Go over to the other side. Here's our tail. Here's the loop. Okay. The ticking is gonna follow our chicken wire, just like that. And that's how I can easily remember, is I'm just looking at the ribbon below it. Okay, now we're going to the gingham. Follow the pattern. Here we go. And then the last one, the harlequin. We're gonna go here. And then here. And you can go ahead and straighten out any of your ribbon if it's pinched, if it's kind of slightly turning. Like right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, like this one kind of is, so I can readjust that so it's tilted the right direction. And then now you're going to lift the two that you want on your top. So I have the red and the gingham, okay? Then you're kind of looking, okay, the ticking's kind of coming up in between that. That looks kind of cute. Over here, we're gonna pull the gingham over. Pull this one way over here. Put our ticking back in the middle. Okay. You can put the curls back in your ribbon just by running your fingers under your tails. And then I like how my chicken wire is coming in between the red and the ticking. And then here, the farmhouse is coming between the red and the gingham. Just like that. And as the designer, you pick. You know, you might want to blend some of your tails in with your loops. It's up to you. There's no right and wrong way. I'm just moving my tails so I can get my loops up. Get this one over here. So I can pull this up between these, just like so. There we go. Up, up. Trying to get that through there. Get our red. It's kind of like went too low. Okay, nice and pretty. When you're happy with the way it all looks, here's my red. We're way over here. Let's pull you over here. And that's why. Oop. There we go. Kind of got somebody out of order. There we go. Now they're back in sync. There we go. Sometimes they just want to lay where they want to lay.
And she doesn't use Fisker scissors. This is from earlier. She uses her Betty Crocker scissors for the most part.
Yeah, Fiskers are too nice to use to cut my ribbon. I use them if I'm cutting satin ribbon because you almost need something that's not going to cause that ribbon to slide out. But there is our bow. It's all done.
Got it.
Okay, this, see right now it's perfect to take a picture for that. It's all ready to go. It goes off the same way it went on. And then this is perfect because it's thin enough to slide next to your fridge.
Richard's the Steve Ruffy quiet tonight. No, I'm just letting everybody watch and comment. Richard said I'm being awfully quiet tonight. I said, no, I'm just letting everybody watch while you're making your bow.
Okay, So we are going to look at layout. So remember I said I needed those embellishments to be at the bottom. That kind of determines where everything needs to be. It's going to kind of be up here. Let me look. Bow is going to probably be up here. Believe it or not. I don't know. We will see. I usually like them off to the side. So we'll look and see. Maybe we'll pull this down, kind of angle our sign up sideways.
I'm gonna try to keep the farmhouse in the right spot.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, we got words going from one end of the board to the other. And then we have our chicken who needs to go in here as well. So, let me look at the layout now. So if I put him here, he needs to almost be here, which means that our sign needs to kind of go here. But then he really covers my sign, so I might have to bring him down so he's a little bit, he's nesting in one of those spots. Let me see. Now we can go higher with that. We angle that and then kind of proceed to put him a little bit like that. Okay, I think I kind of have the layout. So I'm going to spin it so you can see it. So chicken, farmhouse, bow. Okay. The plush chicken was from Dollar General almost 3 years ago. So odds of finding him are going to be difficult. I'm going to go ahead and just weave my sign down to the frame. Okay, I'm going to slightly pull back just a touch. I don't want a ton of mesh up on top. Right about there looks good. Kind of leaving everything so I can secure it so I don't forget where it's all going to go. What's wrong?
Froze on my end for a second. Not on the Mevo end, but on my phone.
Oh.
It's back now. Yeah, so I have that same chicken.
He's a famous chicken. Okay, there's that. Normally, I think when we've done our, when we've added the chicken, we've done a much smaller sign, like 4 or 5 inch. So I'm just going to use these like this to frame my sign. So my bow is actually kind of off towards the side. I'm going to go ahead and get this down.
Della us too. She said beautiful. I wish we had a farmhouse to put that on.
You know what? They go great in the kitchen. That's where I have a lot of my farmhouse stuff is in my kitchen, over my pantry door or over the kitchen window. So we're just trying to get this down.
Yeah, David said I love red and farmhouse.
Yeah, and our kitchen's red, white, and black, so technically it would work.
Yeah, most of the room is from Craft Outlet or Kringle Design.
There's nothing from Kringle.
Craft Outlet.
Craft Outlet, yeah. Okay, so we're going to put this off to the side. We're going to frame that around our sign. Okay, bring all our tails back and around to the front. We'll have these kind of just peeking in, up and in. Move all of our tails. So these are kind of cascading out, down, side. Okay. So I've got the bows on. The bow is on.
Jay said, did you see Gail's grapevine? Wasn't it pretty? Yes, it was pretty.
Yes. Okay. There's that. There's that. Trying to pull our loop up and over the tail. There we go. And we will take this so that our tails lay a little bit lower. I'm going to kind of tuck the edge right here so that I'm going to make sure everything is laying where I want it to go. I'm going to move my pipe cleaner for now. Somebody's at the door. It's like Grand Central Station, right? Okay. Pull some of our tails around. There we go. Okay, now we need to add our chicken, which is going to be right over our whatchamacallit, right over our embellishment. So I'm actually going to remove my pipe cleaner. Just like that. To attach the chicken, a couple things you could do. I usually try to make them to where if you pull them off, he's still functional. Like I don't like to, you know, destroy the actual chicken. But he's weighted with about 1 pound of gravel. Sometimes it's sand. What you can do if you're concerned with weight is you can take a seam ripper and slightly rip, I probably do it here, on the back side of the chicken. Just open the seam so you can grab that gravel bag and pull it out and then stitch him back up, make him lighter. But I actually like the weight on him the way it is right now. I'm just going to make sure he gets tucked in, kind of down and out. Let's see, can we angle you this way so you're not in the way of the sign? And we can still see what's underneath. Just like that. So I'm going to use 22 gauge floral wire because it's thick enough to go in most plushes. I'm looking at where it's going to go. It's going to go underneath his wing. I'm going to be able to take this and poke this right through. Okay.
Thank you, Rosario. She said Buster Page.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, there we go. We've got it through the chicken under his wing. We're going to give him a little twist so that doesn't pull out. Okay, that is getting wired in here, which is right over where my pipe cleaner is. So that makes it super easy to attach him. It had to have been Amazon. You're just going through a lot. Trying to get my wire through. Tuck my feather down, or his wing. I want to make sure I can pull him down to the frame. And right now he's like slightly floating up from here. If I take some of this mesh and push the mesh down, then he is situated where he needs to be. Okay, right underneath everything. Okay, he is in. We're good. Now we need to add some embellishments. Super simple. We're going to add in some speckled eggs. These, where did I get these from? Are they on the list? I think. At the very bottom. Michael's.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Michael's for the win on speckled eggs. They should have them in stock. Almost everybody is carrying speckled eggs of some degree. I think Hobby Lobby has them in pastels. But in with the pastels, I think is kind of like a cream color. They also have them in like a natural color. So we're going to take this one. We're actually going to tuck this one into the bow at the top. More of a rustic colored. So I'm Gorilla Gluing our speckled egg right into the top, just like that. Okay, we are going to take some of our raffia. One. Trying to find bigger pieces. There we go. Try to make bundles of 3. So trying to even everybody out to start with. I'm living for the day when raffia comes on a roll and you can unroll it instead of just dealing with bunches. So I just kind of toggle back and forth like this. This bundle is actually going right here by our farmhouse sign. So right in those spaces where we have that chicken wire. We will snip that off, tuck that little stub down so we have some rustic raffia there. We're going to do this up at the top. So now you guys can start seeing the bottom. There's one. There's a good one. 2. He's a little short. There's a good piece. Okay. I always ask people, they're like, well, how big are you doing that? I'm like, just so it fits in the palm of my hand. Just doubled over. We're going to place this up here. Just like this. Tuck that in. So we have some up on the top. Moving it around. We need to put some underneath our chicken's underside. So I'm looking for some bigger pieces. This raffia you can get from Hobby Lobby. You can also get it from Amazon. Amazon sells them in bundles of like 4 to 6 bundles each. And I think I've had this stuff for quite a while. I'm looking. And there we go. Because I have my chicken sitting on top of one. I'm just going to twist this. Kind of slide this right underneath. Just making sure I'm actually hitting the frame. Because I've got to go through chicken wire, ribbon. The cotton drift is really difficult because it never fails. Your pipe cleaner is always going to catch on some of the fibers in that. Every single time. Never fails. Okay. There we go. It's in for the win.
Nancy, no, it's not a pancake wreath.
No.
We're just at a worst case. You bought the hula skirts.
Yes.
It was raffia.
Yes, you can do that. That is a really good idea if you can't find raffia.
Yep.
Yeah, Dollar Tree.
Party City can have them. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, let's add our. We're gonna do the smaller one. I think smaller. Let's look. I think I'm going to do the bigger one under the chicken. Because I have 2 smalls and 1 large. So we're just going to kind of tuck that up underneath. And then we're going to tuck this one over here, just underneath our bow. Get these situated in just like this, which is a nice look. This one goes up on our top. More glue. Okay. And this will just tuck in up here. Just like that. Last thing, right? Like there needs to be anything else. We are going to add chicken feathers. So Amazon sells chicken feathers. They come in 3 different kinds when you buy them. So we're gonna add, there's a kind that has like a little bit of a stripe. There's some that come with a little spot. And then there's one that has like a little touch of red. Like this one has more red in it, like more of a darker rust. So I like to add these in right next to my eggs. So that we just have little feathers.
Chance of the Wreath looks so pretty, cat, with a bunch of farm level characters.
Aww. I always wish I could remember to do that when commenting on people's lives. The emojis are really nice.
Yeah.
Let me find a bigger one with spots. Do we have one with spots? We might not. But these ones are a little bit different. This is one big one? No. There we go. So just something a little nice that'll tuck in there. We'll place some around our feather as well. Okay. Take the smaller one. Add this in. Okay, there's one. There's 2. And I'll get the other one. Make sure these are all out of the way. Go over here. Touch these down. There's one right by our side. Grab the kind with the rust in it. Okay, there's another one. I'll grab one more. That one looks a little weak. This one's really pretty though. Okay. Grab some more of these. Put these just underneath our chicken by our egg. There's one. There's 2. Let's see if we can find that really pretty rust colored. There we go. And then we are all set.
Wreaths are my favorite so far this week. Chance, thank you for creating this wreath. Once again, you did a wonderful job. Have a good night.
You're so welcome. Thanks for joining. Okay. Oop. Can't have these around because our cats will think that those are new play toys. Okay. Let me show you what this looks like on the door. Let's make sure all of our stuff is off. I will pull this forward. Put this right here for now. Make sure all of our glue threads are off. And here is how it sits on the door. I think we're gonna have to secure our chicken head just because of where he's at gravity-wise. We're gonna probably have to put him back here a bit. So let me do that really quick because I don't like the way it looks until we do that. Gravity. It looks different. Like when you're laying it flat, you don't see it until you lift it up. Sorry, Mr. Chicken. We're going to just poke this right through there.
On the back side?
On the back side of his head. I'm going to make sure I give him a little bit of space to kind. Give him a twist. And then
Kathy and I said I have saved most of your videos on YouTube.
oh, nice. Believe it or not, I watch a lot of my own videos. I'm like, how did I put that on there last time? What did we use here?
I should say pork chicken.
I know, but I can't have him leaning far forward, so now he sits flush. So look, he sits in his nice spot and he doesn't lean forward. So there is all of this. Make sure all of your ribbon is returned back to its fluffy spots if you've been handling it a little too crazy. All of your loops are going where they're supposed to go. Everything's open, everything's up, just like so. And you can tilt it any way you want. I kind of like mine to always be like kind of off.
There's no drunken chickens.
No drunken chickens.
Someone said, what a cute chicken, Cat.
Huh?
Someone said, what a cute chicken.
Yeah.
A bunch of those.
So there he is. He's all done. He's all ready to go. Any last minute things that I need to talk about that you can see?
Nope.
Did I miss any questions?
I don't think so. No.
It's weird. My thing won't update. Okay. So there we go. Join me Sunday at 6. We're going to have a pretty cool, unusual design. We're going grapevine. So I'm going to show you a new design that I've been waiting for everything to come through. So I'm doing it for a friend of mine. And I'll fill you in on all the details once we get that there.
Give it lots of likes and loves.
Yep. Let me know if there's anything else you guys need. If you feel like you want to email me, you can always email me at info@KatsCreationsNMore.com. Again, if you want to join the Wreath of the Month group, same email, because it has to be sent via invitation until we get that page up and operational. For now, if you'd like to join the private group, that is open. It'll be open until May the 15th, and then the cart's going to close until probably after the summer. And we'll probably reopen right before the holidays for one final shot. So if you guys have been hesitating, not sure if you want to join, go do that. There's a couple weeks left before we close it until, I think it's August, end of August, where we'll reopen it again. Other than that, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys all Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, which is 8 Central and 9 Eastern time. Have a great night, everyone.